his home in West Grand Bahama. Mr. Wilshcombe entered politics in August of 1994 when he was appointed senator by former Prime Minister, the late Right Honorable Sir Lyndon Pinling. He was elected chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party in 1995. His notable achievements as Minister of Tourism include introducing sports, religious, and African American tourism in the Bahamas and creating a policy to develop the film industry. 2 of the top 3 films of 2006 were shot in the Bahamas. Prior to his politics, Obi was a career journalist who joined the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in 1975. During his 25 years of service, he held the position of Deputy Director of News, News Director, and Assistant General Manager in 1990. Mr. Wilshcombe was first elected to office in 2002 as the representative for West End, Grand Bahama, and Bimini. He served as Minister of Tourism in the Christie administration. Wilshcombe's death is shocking. Last Thursday, he spoke at ZNS's relaunch. On Friday, he attended George Smith's memorial in Exuma. He spoke at a Progressive Liberal Party women's branch meeting in Grand Bahama on Sunday. Well, as the news spread on the island of Grand Bahama, scores of residents gathered at the Rand Memorial Hospital where his death was confirmed. Shane Stubbs joins us live now with that report. Shane.
Yes, Remiko, residents gathered at the Rand Memorial Hospital after receiving the news that the Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Obi Wilshcombe, was found unresponsive. Sometime after confirmation of his passing, we spoke with residents to get their initial reactions about the news, which has left the country reeling. It's an emotional day here on Grand Bahama and around the country as news of the late Honorable Obi Wilshcombe comes as a shock to many. In one of his final acts here on Earth, the late minister spoke at the Progressive Liberal Party's Women's Branch monthly gathering. Moved by his final charge to the women, it was surely difficult for attorney Carla Scott Clare upon receiving the news.
He admonished all of us to be our brother's keeper. I gathered from this presentation that it was divinely orchestrated by God. There is no question about it. We mourn with the entire Bahamas today, and especially the family members, our dear chairlady, Judith Wilshcombe. We were all so grateful for the presentation presented by our minister.
Remembering the late cabinet minister as a pleasant presence to be around was attorney Paco Deal. As he recalls, he had just met with Wilshcombe on Sunday and remembers seeing the former cabinet minister in a vibrant state, knowing what he meant to the West Grand Bahama community and his place in public life. He says he certainly left a legacy.
From the small to the old, we call him Obi, and he was always a pleasant individual. I must say that Mr. Wilshcombe is a legend in his own way, and he would have left a great legacy behind, and it was always Obi, West End, Obi. But again, we hurt, we feel it. From the young to the old, we feel he's going to be greatly, greatly, greatly missed.
And a collection of other residents spoke to the characteristics that laid the foundation for his legacy.
We lost a very, very special person who really loved the people of the Bahamas, and he was very genuine in the things that he wanted to do.
He was a fair man, and he always spoke about love. One love, that was Obi, one love. And so we will miss him greatly in West Grand Bahama.
Obi was a fellow that you just couldn't hate him. You may say whatever you want to say, but you just couldn't hate Obi because Obi was so smooth in his deliverance.
We just don't just mourn an individual. We're mourning a pioneer, a warrior, a person that reminds you so much of Sir Lyndon Pinling.
One of the stuff I admire about him is when he talked from the heart. He never used a paper, to talk. So this is a great loss for Grand Bahama. Really saddened to hear the news.
Obi, blessed be you in the kingdom of heaven. I loved you, and I treasured you for many things that you've done for so many people, especially West End, Grand Bahama.
Now, Remiko, arriving on island earlier was the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, and many other cabinet ministers who visited the hospital upon arrival. And as you can imagine, it was an emotional time for the heads of government. And certainly, it's a difficult time in the country. Live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs. Back to you in studio, Remiko.
Thanks so much, Shane. Well, as mentioned, the nation's leader traveling to Grand Bahama once news broke of the minister's condition. Prime Minister Philip Davis, along with the Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, Minister of State in the DRA and the Office of the Prime Minister, among other dignitaries, first paying their respect at the Rand Memorial Hospital and then converged at the PLP headquarters. The nation's leader commended Wilshcombe for his unwavering loyalty to the party and to nation building. Raven Davis has more in this report.
Yes, Ramiko, a somber atmosphere enveloping here at the PLP headquarters earlier today. And as you know, it is right here where the late Honorable Obadiah Wilshcombe gave his final public speech during a women's branch meeting just Sunday evening. Now, the nation's leader, accompanied by esteemed dignitaries, also gathering here to share their reflections and express condolences on the untimely passing of Obie Wilshcombe. This gathering marking a poignant moment in history, PM Davis characterizing Wilshcombe's passing as tragic. In his remarks, he highlights Wilshcombe's steadfast loyalty to the party while also underscoring his invaluable contributions to nation building.
His contribution to the development of this country is exemplary. Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and 2, they're all made right here, all at the instance of Obie Wilshcombe. In tourism, our brand of being a tourist, sports tourism, he's the one that started, and we are still riding on that to this day. And we are hosting international world-class events as a result of his efforts. And yes, we have 8 million tourists coming in today, but again, it started with the foundation laid by him.
The news of Wilshcombe's passing sending ripples of emotion throughout the country as the former cabinet minister in the preceding days maintained a prominent public presence.
I'm told that last night, in this very place, Obie addressed the women's branch, and that everyone was that speech was passionate. I was happy that he's able to speak to the women's branch, identify what's going on, because his work will be continued.
Members of the Progressive Liberal Party bearing an enormous burden of grief as Clara Bell, wife of the Minister of Housing, the Honorable Keith Bell, lost her battle with cancer on Sunday. PM Davis saying with sadness that death is inevitable, but the human soul indestructible.
None of us here will ever outlive life. But as Christians, we know that death is not the end. Right? As Christians, we know that that's only a passageway to a greater and larger life. And of course, we need to live right to ensure, to be able to hear those final words, well done, thou good and faithful servant.
And while the nation grieves the passing of a man who poured his soul into others and every endeavor, the Prime Minister urges all to hold dear the moments of joy.
Let's think about how he encouraged us. Let's think about what he would have done to make our lives better. And let us always remember that he is absent now from his body. And we pray for his soul to be with the Lord.
And as you can see, party supporters have already began gathering here. The nation's leader also ordering all national flags to be flown at half-staff today. Reporting live from the PLP headquarters for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks so much, Raven. Well, the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, issued a statement on the passing of the Honorable Obie Wilshcombe. It reads in part that it is with deep sorrow that I extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of the Honorable Obie Wilshcombe, Minister of Social Service, Information and Broadcasting, and the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini. Minister Wilshcombe was a long-serving parliamentarian in the Cabinet of the Bahamas who dedicated his life to the public service and made significant contributions to the the development of our nation. The statement continued. He believed in the fundamental principles of a progressive cause that endeavored to empower Bahamians to hold their heads up high with dignity and respect. The Minister of Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, said that on behalf of the residents of Pine Ridge and my immediate family, I offer condolences to the family and the residents of West Grand Bahama and Bimini. In closing, she stated, "We pray that you are comforted during this most difficult time." Well, as many know, the love the late Minister Wilshcombe had for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency could never be overstated. Many residents there laughed in shock as they learned of the third non-consecutive Member of Parliament for West End's passing. Jolanda Thompson has this story.
It is unbelievable, as most would describe. The passing of Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, and MP for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Obadiah Wilshcombe, has shocked the entire country, but most of all those in the West Grand Bahama district. Some say that the minister's death has left them emotional, distraught, and lost for words, and some are still in disbelief of what has happened. Grand Bahama losing a pioneer, a giant of a man, and an unforgettable jewel in West Grand Bahama.
It's a shock to all of us, but his time has come to an end, and ain't nothing we could do or say that will bring him back. Obi was a straight-up guy. If he could do something for you, he'd tell you.
I'm as sad as everyone else who we represented, and the distinction, I think, and I think he did well. As a cabinet minister, as an MP, and I'm quite sure that everyone will miss him.
The boy just lost the words because, you know, we lost a giant of a man who everybody respected. Whether you like him, either you love him or you hated him, for more ways than one. But it's sad in our hearts today.
These residents revealed that Minister Wilshcombe assisted in providing financial assistance, health care, job opportunities, and emotional support for just about every home in West End. And now that he is gone, he will be sadly missed. When asked on his replacement and the new MP for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, they say that the person has a lot of shoes to fill.
But whomsoever it might be, he has to hold his head up. You see? Because we standing for one thing, what we're saying, raise up your head, Bahama land. Yes. We should raise up to rising sun, because he was one of us, the rising sun.
I'm quite sure there's probably one or two people that could replace him. I mean, a person like Minister Wilshcombe, he will come into the community and say what he have to say, hang with us, sleep amongst us. That's a lot, you know.
I don't think that there's nobody I've come across had the type of compassion, type of love for the West End and Bimini community.
I hope it's someone who could carry his legacy on with the love he had for West End, well, his constituency, West End and Bimini, you know, because he always had a great deal of love for West End and Bimini.
Minister Obadiah Wilshcombe, serving as the Minister of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, and has widely garnered respect, love, and admiration for all of those he came in contact with. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Also tonight, former Member of Parliament for Bimini and the Berry Islands, Mr. George Weech, reflecting on the life and legacy of the Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting and Leader of Government Business in the House of Assembly, Honorable Obi Wilshcombe, who passed away at the Rand Memorial Hospital in Freeport, Grand Bahama this morning. Today, he talked with ZNS News about this Bahamian giant. Christine Pinder reports.
The former Member of Parliament for Bimini and the Berry Islands, Mr. George Weech, paused to extend condolences to the nation on the passing of the Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Obi Wilshcombe. Mr. Weech described him as a dedicated and committed Member of Parliament who always placed the needs of his constituents first.
I want to send my condolences on behalf of the people of Bimini to his family and his colleagues in government and the civic and social and business world. We feel a great loss here. Here in Bimini, Obi was considered to be a very regular person. Obi was a people's person. And we are saddened today to hear of his demise. And we mourn with the rest of the Bahamas and, by extension, the wider world community.
Mr. Weish says the passing of Minister Wilshcombe has left a great void in the community, but states that only God can carry them through this most difficult period in their lives.
I had to describe Obi as like one of my sons. He replaced me as the member of Parliament for Bimini. And at no time did he ever visited Bimini in the process of his campaign, that he never came and sat down with me and talked about the conditions here in Bimini as a whole and the conditions of the Bahamas and what he set out to do.
The Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Obi Wilshcombe, has no doubt left a rich legacy behind and will be remembered as a champion of the Bahamian people and someone who always served with excellence.
I must say that he served Bimini with the best and all that he had. And Bimini has a lot to show for it today. Minister Wilshcombe, I'm happy to say, along with Prime Minister Christie, is the ones that we look to for the success that we are having here in Bimini, especially at the new resort on the north, the new resort on the north end of the island, and also the cruise ship port, which brings us business in the community almost 12 months of the year.
For the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, I'm Christine Pender.
Well, our ZNS News team spoke with the late Minister Wilshcombe yesterday as he made his last public address to the local women's branch. We have that and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues.
For it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need and extended hours. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Hands Across Grand Bahama presents the 5th annual When Men Worship, October 3rd at New Life Family Worship Center with guest speaker Rakino Munker, guest psalmist Alessandro Major, with your host evangelist Elmore Smith. Don't you miss it.
Come and see the cabinets and countertops in stock now at Specialty Kitchen and Bath, number 16 Oak Street. Phone them at 688-9661.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority presents 50th Anniversary Golden Tribute, The Unveiling, Friday, September 29th, Churchill Square, downtown, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Witness history in the making.
The Hawksbill High Reunion Class of 82 celebrates with a cocktail reception Friday, October 6th and a fun day in Pelican Point Saturday, October 7th. For tickets, call 359-7504 or 533-2063. Don't miss out on the amazing 20% off discount going on now until September 30th at Mo Divas, Caravel Beach, and Mo Hustle in the Tropical Commercial Center, West Mall Drive.
Did you know that as a small island, Grand Bahama is extremely vulnerable to the effects of global warming? It's never too late to start practicing water conservation and to minimize your contribution to climate change by reducing your carbon footprint. Earth is our home, and there's only one, so let's take good care of it.
This is a public safety announcement from the Grand Bahama Power Company.
Customers are reminded to ensure that a transfer switch is installed when a backup energy source, such as a generator, is being used. When a storm strikes and knocks out power to your home, you may be forced to use a backup energy source, such as solar panels or a generator. Do you know about the potential danger or how to safely use backup energy sources? There's one major risk that you should be aware of. It's called backfeed, and it can endanger you, a family member, or someone else, especially a lineman or electrician working near your property. What is backfeed? Backfeed occurs when power travels from your solar setup or generator back through the utility line, resulting in them being unknowingly re-energized. Backfeed creates a very dangerous and potentially deadly situation for line workers and the general public. If your solar system or generator isn't properly installed, the backfeed of electric current could severely injure or kill a lineman working to restore power. The best way to avoid backfeed is by installing a transfer switch. Transfer switch ensures your household isn't connected to the power grid and the backup energy source at the same time. To prevent backfeed, generators, whether permanent or portable, should never be plugged into a home's wiring or directly to the circuit breaker panel. Be sure to have a qualified, licensed electrician install your backup energy source and a transfer switch, thereby eliminating backfeed. Preventing backfeed could save a life.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Our ZNS News team capturing what is now the final speech from Minister Obi Wilshcombe, who was the guest speaker for the monthly gathering of the Progressive Liberal Party's Women's Branch meeting held at the party's headquarters last evening. Now, during his address, he emphasized the pivotal and significant roles that women play in our society, reaffirming their importance in various aspects of community and urban development.
Let us remember that when the women began to organize for the suffragettes, when the women had to reach out and cause for men to have the right to vote at an early age, when the women caused for the movement of the Progressive Liberal Party to be very strong, the women took the leadership. In fact, the truth is, women have always been in leadership of our party. Whilst we hear the name of Dame Doris Johnson often, the truth is it was the ordinary women who were extraordinary, who made a difference in our climb to the top.
The Minister of Social Services, the Honorable Obi Wilshcombe, underscored the significance of celebrating women in today's society. Emphasizing the need for appreciation, he traced this legacy of recognition and empowerment back to the late Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling. With it, he continued under the leadership of former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie. Minister Wilshcombe lauded the ongoing commitment to this cause, noting that the current Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, has taken it to new heights.
Every person in this room today is important. We need you, though, to rise up with new thoughts and new ideas. Think about what can be done. Ask your government to assist you in certain programs that you want to do, and then reach out and touch. Make a difference. So Lyndon used to tell me, if you sit down and do nothing, you're just as bad as the person who making noise every single day.
Well, it was a moving and powerful address made to the ladies, according to attorney Carla Scott Clare, that is now etched in history as his last public appearance and interview with the media.
I have to tell you.
Grief-stricken by the news, the Women's Branch member shares how timely his final speech was to the ladies and offered her condolences to the Wilshcombe family.
I have to tell you that that was a divine presentation presented by Minister Wilshcombe. He admonished all of us to be our brother's keeper, to ensure that we are more concerned about others than ourselves. Mr. Wilshcombe said that he grew a love for the Ministry of Social Service, the portfolio that he had with respect to ensuring that those who were in need in our community was afforded the opportunity to receive assistance from the government in any which way he could render those assistance. We were all so grateful for the presentation presented by our minister. I gathered from this presentation that it was divinely orchestrated by God. There is no question about it. Mr. Wilshcombe spent his last few hours with members and guests and stalwart councillors of the Progressive Liberal Party, the party that he loved. The sacrifices that he would have made, we would forever be grateful. First of all, to the Almighty God for allowing us to have such an incredible human being to be a part of this great institution, the Progressive Liberal Party. We mourn with the entire Bahamas today, and especially the family members, our dear chairlady, Judith Wilshcombe. And we mourn with our leaders, our Prime Minister, the Honourable Brave Davis.
Now around 4 p.m., Minister Wilshcombe's body left the Rand Memorial Hospital today in a motorcade style, followed by members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Was taken to the airport to be transported to the New Providence. There are a number of residents gathered intact. It wasn't overwhelming for a family member who fell out and had to be taken to a nearby vehicle. In New Providence, his cabinet colleagues waited at the airport to pay their tributes and respect to the fallen minister. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
New this month at Island Bedding and Furniture. 5- and 7-piece dining room sets. Gorgeous natural wood dining tables and bench sets in mango, acacia, or shisham wood. And your pick of additional chairs. All new living room pieces, including sectional, TV stands, accent tables, and more. For the bedroom, we're all about platforms, unbelievable prices, and no box spring required. Come on down to Island Bedding and feast your eyes on prices you have to see to believe.
Introducing our sizzling deal of the season. Sink your teeth into delicious piping hot Pizza Hut pizzas layered with your favorite toppings. Order 2 large one-topping pizzas for just $27.70. Call Pizza Hut Freeport at 352-9191 to order now. Available for carryout and delivery. 352-9191. Your taste buds and pocket will thank you. Only available at Pizza Hut Freeport.
Hi, I'm Wes. I like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
John West Shoes is now open. Carmichael West, Nassau, behind Wendy's.
We all need to save. Save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop. The new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
Guess what? Budget Pest Control has something important to show you. Coq de termites former Salmus, the super termite. What makes them super? Their ferocious appetite can attack your home from below and above. They even attack forestry. But don't worry. Budget Pest Control has extensively studied this species on Grand Bahama. You can even check out our scientific paper, so you can count on us to protect your investment. Call Budget Pest Control, the termite specialist.
Somebody call the Brinks truck.
Christmas in Freeport presents the Black Bottle Christmas Concert featuring the boss, Rick Ross. Live in concert.
The biggest concert of the year. And you know the biggest boss gonna run out there, boy.
On Saturday, December 23rd at Goombay Park, Freeport, Bahamas. With DJs like Tico T, Overdose, 1K Gaza, DJ Cannon, Just Ride, King Diano, Little Giant, DJ Slanks, DJ Future, Mad Bull, and more. It's Christmas in Freeport. The Black Bottle Christmas, BBC, Part 5, with Rick Ross, the boss, performing live. Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, at Goombay Park, Freeport, Bahama. Doors open at 9 p.m. until. Security is strictly enforced. For more info, call 602-7751 or 727-3226. The Black Bottle Christmas Concert.
The biggest boss in the biz, Ricky Rose, come performing live.
For sponsorship and Skybox info, call 602-7751.
Depression, mental illness, guilt, trauma, and substance abuse. These are some of the symptoms that lead one to contemplate suicide.
The month of September is recognized as Suicide Prevention Month, a time when countries and organizations around the world raise awareness on suicide and focus efforts on directing treatment to those who need it most.
Suicide Prevention Awareness, right here on the ZNS Network. Wednesday, September 27th at 8 p.m.
And that's going to do it for us here in the Northern Bahamas. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, we invite you to stay tuned for continued coverage on the death of Minister of Social Services and Broadcasting, the Honorable Obi Wilshcombe. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Have a great evening, everyone.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, the loss of a media and political giant. Mourners flock PLP headquarters, reflections of veteran broadcasters, and in sports, Wilshcombe's impact on sports. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
All national flags to be flown at half-staff as the country reels from an incredible loss. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Makush Lapinder. Thanks for tuning in. Not in the least the kind of news the government and the entire country, for that matter, had hoped to be greeted with, but news we've had to wrestle since early this morning. Obadiah Hercules Wilshcombe, broadcaster, parliamentarian, cabinet minister, public servant, father and friend, died overnight in Grand Bahama. He was 64. In the hours that have passed, his body has been flown from his beloved Grand Bahama to here in New Providence, where he also called home. We have team coverage tonight, beginning with our Desmond Saunders, who's standing by at the Princess Margaret Hospital's morgue, where the late minister's body will, for now, take its rest. Well, we will turn to Desmond later in our newscast. Now, earlier today, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis this morning boarded a plane for Grand Bahama in hopes of providing solace and some degree of comfort to the people Obi Wilshcombe has long represented. Some of the many people he stood beside and never left during the worst of hurricanes. Raven Davis from our Northern Service picks up the story from here.
A somber atmosphere enveloping here at the PLP headquarters earlier today. And as you know, it is right here where the late Honorable Obadiah Wilshcombe gave his final public speech during a women's branch meeting just Sunday evening. Now, the nation's leader, accompanied by esteemed dignitaries, also gathering here to share their reflections and express condolences on the untimely passing of Obi Wilshcombe. This gathering marking a poignant moment in history, PM Davis characterizing Wilshcombe's passing as tragic. In his remarks, he highlights Wilshcombe's steadfast loyalty to the party while also underscoring his invaluable contributions to nation building.
His contribution to the development of this country is exemplary. Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and 2, they're all made right here, all at the instance of Obi Wilshcombe. In tourism, our brand of being a tourist, sports tourism, he's the one that started, and we are still riding on that to this day. And we are hosting international world-class events as a result of his efforts. And yes, we have 8 million tourists coming in today, but again, it started with the foundation laid by him.
The news of Wilshcombe's passing sending ripples of emotion throughout the country as the former cabinet minister in the preceding days maintained a prominent public presence.
I'm told that last night in this very place, Obi addressed the women's branch, and that everyone was that speech was passionate. I was happy that he's able to speak to the women's branch, identify what's going to be, because his work will be continued.
Members of the Progressive Liberal Party bearing an enormous burden of grief as Clara Bell, wife of the Minister of Housing, the Honorable Keith Bell, lost her battle with cancer on Sunday. PM Davis saying with sadness that death is inevitable, but the human soul indestructible.
None of us here will ever outlive life. But as Christians, we know that death is not the end. Right? As Christians, we know that that's only a passageway to a greater and larger life. And of course, we need to live right to ensure to be able to hear those final words, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant."
And while the nation grieves the passing of a man who poured his soul into others and every endeavor, the Prime Minister urges all to hold dear the moments of joy.
Let's think about how he encouraged us. Let's think about what he would have done to make our lives better. And let us always remember that he is absent now from his body. And we're praying for his soul to be with the Lord.
And as you can see, party supporters have already began gathering here. The nation's leader also ordering all national flags to be flown at half-staff today. Reporting live from the PLP headquarters for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis. Back to you at the desk.
Well, thanks, Raven. We now take you back to our Desmond Saunders, who's standing by at the Princess Margaret Hospital's morgue, where the mortal remains of now former cabinet minister Obadiah Wilshcombe recently arrived.
Well, a pleasant good evening, Makusla. Activity has dwindled here at the Princess Margaret Hospital morgue. I can tell you earlier this afternoon, the body of broadcast icon, Minister of Social Services and Information, Obadiah Wilscombe, was received here by workers here at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Got off the phone and had an opportunity to speak one-on-one with the Managing Director of the Public Hospitals Authority, Abinette Roll, and she tells me that Minister Wilscombe's body is being stored in a cooler with security detail. As to when his body will be released, that's yet to be known, and we will find that out. But we guesstimate and we understand that there's some tests and a pathology report that is expected to be received, and that exercise, as you know, in this case, is expected to be done. But that's what's happening here at the Princess Margaret Hospital morgue. I can tell you the procession, there was a procession that started from the Odyssey Aviation Airport on to John F. Kennedy Drive, on to West Bay Street, the office of the Prime Minister. There were some officials standing outside from the office of the Prime Minister witnessing this very historic occasion, onto Bay Street, and the body was received here by officials and workers here at the Princess Margaret Hospital. A very sad day indeed. His casket draped in the Bahamian flag. As you know, Mr. Wilscombe was a patriot and a nationalist at heart, and so this is going to be a developing story, and it becomes interesting by the minute, and we therefore honor the legacy, work, and life of Obie Wilscombe. That's what's happening here from my vantage point. Back to you in the studio.
Well, thanks, Desmond. Now, as you can imagine, condolences pouring into the family and loved ones Obie Wilscombe has left behind, beginning with a heavy-hearted, lengthy statement from the Prime Minister. In it, the Prime Minister acknowledged that Obie's passing is very shocking, very sad, and that even though he has achieved much in his many years of public service, he still had so much more to offer. Funny, thoughtful, and with a great sense of our place in history, Obie Wilscombe will also be remembered for what the Prime Minister noted as his articulate discourse and thoughtful insights that were profound and often shocked to the conscience of the Progressive Liberal Party, but led to meaningful deliberations and impactful resolutions. His favorite phrase, the Prime Minister recalled, was "one love," that exemplified his worldview, symbolizing unity, compassion, and deep love of humanity. Obie Wilscombe first served as a cabinet minister in a Progressive Liberal Party government led by former Prime Minister Perry Christie, who too expressed profound sadness following the passing of a man he considered more than a political colleague, but the other side of a friendship that spanned more than 3 decades. Christie says he will always cherish the memories of Obie's steadfast loyalty to the PLP's great cause. On a more personal level, the former Prime Minister says he always enjoyed Obie's company. While political differences aside, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram says he and Wilscombe just last Friday attended a luncheon and Obie appeared to be in stable health. Despite entering politics on the opposing side, Obie, he says, was always personally respectful to me, and we maintained a professional and cordial relationship throughout. Well, from Hubert Ingram, we turn to sympathies coming in from former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who touted Wilscombe as serving his nation with unwavering dedication and passion. Minnis continuing that Wilscombe's invaluable contributions to the government of the Bahamas will forever be remembered and appreciated, adding that as a devoted public servant, Wilscombe worked tirelessly to enhance the lives of citizens, leaving an indelible mark on our country's history. Dr. Minnis assured that his thoughts and prayers are with the nation during this difficult moment. Well, outside the political arena, a steady flow of mourners turning out to the Progressive Liberal Party's headquarters on Farrington Road immediately after hearing the news of Wilscombe's untimely death this morning. With that angle, we turn to our Carla Palmer.
With the advent of social media aided by technology, the news came quick. And for many party supporters, friends and colleagues gathered at the PLP headquarters on Farrington Road, it hit like a freight train. Of the death of Social Services Minister responsible for information and broadcasting, the Honorable Obie Wilscombe. Chairman Emeritus of the PLP, Minky Isaacs, was the leading party official already present. The veteran broadcast journalist turned politician, cabinet minister, and nationalist, in that of Minister Wilchcombe, Isaacs remarked, heralded the banner of the party's ideology and history as a PLP who never wavered. Wilchcombe's shoes, says Isaacs and others, will be hard to fill.
He always put his country first. He was a devoted Bahamian who wanted to see the progress of his people through the country to be a better place for all. His passing is indeed a shock. It is a shock to our party, and we want to offer our condolences to his family.
Mr. Wilchcombe, my friend, my brother, 31 years together on this job. I know him in and out. All the conventions, I worked with him very, very closely. And I always feel like nobody could really organize a PLP convention like Mr. Obi Wilchcombe. You know, he's a compassionate person, he's an understanding person, he's a caring person. So sorry he gone so soon.
I got to know Minister Wilchcombe from his early days in going to Grand Bahama and dealing with the young liberals. And watching him evolve over the years to the person that we know him to be, eloquent, well-presented, spoke with determination, spoke with intelligence, and to see him come up through the rank as broadcaster of worth.
Charismatic, respectful, and inspiring were just some adjectives describing Minister Wilchcombe. And for many persons remembering him fondly, his humble and caring nature had him well placed as Minister of Social Services.
He liked poor people. There's never one time that I called Mr. Wilchcombe about something that had to do with poor, that he did not respond. And he always called back, in particular, when you talk about poor people.
He is a friend to all the Bahamas, and his life was very impactful and inspiring. And this morning when I received the news, certainly I was saddened and shocked. It seemed surreal when I was told, but I could only reflect on his confidence, the inspiration he brought to all Bahamian people, the young people, people of all ages and gender. So his life was impactful.
Minister Wilchcombe joined frontline politics in 1994 when he was made a senator in the Pinling administration. He leaves behind a generation of two young men who now sit where he once sat, Senators Darren Pickstock and Randy Roll.
He was always one who was squarely focused on advancing the progressive cause for the Bahamas and for the citizens. He always had an open door policy. You can always reach Minister Wilchcombe, and so this is a profound loss.
He was an extraordinary individual. We would tease him. I called him to tease him yesterday, saying that, Miami Dolphins had just won the Super Bowl. He was that person. Whatever he believed in, he gave his all. And so, it's a major loss for us. I'm saddened, and I want to extend condolences to his entire family.
The word has since come that all flags are to be flown at half-mast. And so that is the case here at the PLP headquarters on Farrington Road. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Now, since October 2021, Minister Wilchcombe has led the Ministry of Social Services, and despite what some would see as a brief stint there, his impact was felt nonetheless. Our Fern Carey has more.
Staff at the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting were allowed to leave work early Monday after hearing about the death of Social Services Minister, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, in Grand Bahama Monday morning. Before leaving the premises, though, the employees, many of them extremely emotional, gathered in the meeting room at Social Services for prayer and reflection. Many of the staffers described the late minister as a consummate professional who will be sadly missed.
We are still in a state of shock and awe. The staff in the Ministry of Social Services are deeply saddened by the passing of the Honorable Minister Obadiah Wilchcombe. He was the gentleman's gentleman, and we were so excited to the future plans and the future workings that we all had in store that he had in store for the ministry, and we're just really shocked right now.
Consultant to the Ministry of Social Services, Dr. Deborah Bartlett, says the late minister had a heart for helping people, which tied into his global vision.
Even though he has transitioned, he has left a legacy because he did some groundbreaking things that, of course, we are going to talk about later. So what am I all saying? Obadiah Wilshcombe was not perfect. None of us are. But he worked on perfection. He was loyal. He was compassionate. I am standing here because he believed in me. But my story is not unique. And so, what we have... What we... sorry.
It's okay, I know, some emotional time.
Yeah. What we have gained is a contribution for the future.
As staff members say, the late Obie Wilshcombe leaves behind a legacy that will last for generations. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Our coverage of the passing of now former cabinet minister Obie Wilshcombe continues. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
Are you a Bahamian artist? Do you love your Bahamian culture? Are you ready for an opportunity of a lifetime? Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group cordially invites you to submit your unreleased Rake and Scrape single now and join the League of Extraordinary Musical Talents. We're seeking authenticity, innovation, and the quintessential Bahamian flair that sets your music apart. To showcase your talent on Island Jams Volume 3. So, simply share your private YouTube, SoundCloud links, or MP3 with us via email at keepthevibelive242@gmail.com. Our ears are tuned to greatness, and we can't wait to discover the next start of Raise Our Island Jams album series. Join hands with the best of the best as we craft a musical journey that echoes through time. Don't miss your chance to shine among the brightest musical talents. Songwriters, producers, artists, and become a part of Island Jams Volume 3.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
found, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Still wrestling with the death of the BCB's AGM in the north, Natalie Mattenborough, ZNES staffers now left to shoulder the loss of their newly appointed minister. Devontae Hanna tells us more.
Celebrate the opportunity, understand your role in the country.
Obi Wilshcombe there admonishing local journalists across the country. Those comments a few years old, but Wilshcombe still holding firm to them up to his untimely death this morning. Breaking the news to staffers at the Broadcasting Corporation was General Manager Clint Watson, who recounted that Wilshcombe had been found unresponsive in a home in his beloved Grand Bahama. Wilshcombe's death, an unexpected blow to BCB employees who gathered in the newsroom in a time of prayer and consolation, mourning the loss of one who for years walked the hallowed halls of ZNES as a reporter, anchor, manager, and up to his death, Minister of Broadcasting. Wilshcombe was first hired in 1975 after being rejected.
And then Mike Smith saw me leaving the gate and asked me, "Are you the young man from Grand Bahama?" I said yes, and he asked me to go to Grand Bahama and see Red Smith, and I got hired a month later.
In his 25 years of service, he climbed the ranks to become the BCB's Deputy Director of News, News Director, and later Assistant General Manager in 1990. He was also one of the visionaries behind ZNES Northern Service, which plays a pivotal role in further strengthening the Broadcasting Corporation's reach throughout the Family Islands. Though many may know him as the eloquent politician with the megawatt smile who never shied away from a battle of words, here at the corporation, he was a mentor, friend, and for many, a dear colleague who helped pave the way for the future of broadcasting here in the Bahamas. Still, years after putting down his journalism pen to pick up that of a legislator, his love for the industry and the art never died.
It feels great to be back in the newsroom and looking forward to 7 o'clock.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
Meantime, veteran broadcast journalists reflecting on the impact their former boss had on their lives and careers. LaDawn Davis caught up with a few of them and filed this report.
Was the news editor at the time. Obi was the news reporter. I was the sports reporter. Obi and Hal have left us.
Trying hard to hold back the tears, former broadcaster and CEO of Urquhart Carlton Smith reminisced on the life and legacy of his fallen friend, the late Obi Wilshcombe, whom he says was a champion for the people.
This uncanny ability to talk to people and make them feel important, make them feel valued, make them feel that he was interested in their well-being. And he was. And he did all in his power to help people in West End. Obi Wilshcombe is not a wealthy man, and he's not a wealthy man because he didn't use politics to amass wealth.
Journalism was Obi's first love, and Smith says he was excited about hearing the news that his friend would once again assume the role as Minister for Broadcasting, Information and Technology, considering his strong passion to bring about positive change to the industry.
For young broadcast journalists in particular, they could do well to emulate the positive impact he's had, not only on the development of the journalism profession in the Bahamas, not only on the impact he's had on broadcasting in the Bahamas, but the impact he's had through his experience and performance as a journalist on the development of this country. And he took that passion that he had for journalism into politics, frontline politics. And every time he and I spoke, he talked about the need to help. And he and I spoke about, on numerous occasions, about how broadcasting can transform a nation, how journalism can transform a nation. So the country has lost a hero.
Former news reporter and anchor, now lecturer at the University of the Bahamas, Dr. Yvette Stewart, says Obi was one of her mentors who left a lasting impression. Similar sentiments coming from fellow anchor Judy Terrell, who credited Obi with giving her a big career.
He ate, slept, drank the media, and he expected you to do the same. So he pushed you and pushed you to the limits until, sometimes you would be arguing, but he just pushed you, and I guess he would have pushed you because he wanted you to, be the best.
3 days on the job now to Andros to cover a fire that was in Kemps Bay. And wouldn't you know it, the former Prime Minister, Sir Lyndon, was the Member of Parliament, and he was there. I was a ball of nerves, and I kept going back to his office as they were preparing us to travel and saying, Obi, I don't think I'm the person. Maybe someone else should go. And I said, no, Judy, you got it.
But while he has left us, the late Obadiah Wilshcombe's authoritative voice, love for journalism, politics, and people will never be forgotten. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
Well, one of Minister Wilshcombe's final speaking engagements was at ZNES's relaunch at the Margaritaville Resort Thursday evening, during which he spoke to the corporation's future, which he deemed significant, citing that for decades, not much had happened.
The quality of our broadcasting must be of the highest level. Our sound must be a sound of excellence. Our broadcasters must broadcast with excellence. Our programs must be comparable to any program in North America, in Europe, Latin America, or any part of the world. We intend to make a difference.
Apart from ZNES rebranding, Minister Wilshcombe plans for the Broadcasting Corporation extended much further, as we hear from his good friend and colleague, Adrian Francis.
We were just talking about the plans for broadcasting. He had just met with Tyler Perry, who had submitted some equipment and some other things, some training for the staff at ZNS. And so we were going over all of that. Having met with Tyler Perry, having met with all the different persons, sending persons to Canada, sending persons to London to train as part of his new mandate with ZNS. And so he was getting my input, and we were designing this news thrust for ZNS. And so this is with all intents and purposes, this is really just shocking to me. I just didn't expect it.
Also sharing memories of the now late minister as a broadcaster, president of the Bahamas Press Club, Anthony Capron.
As a journalist, he was the consummate professional. And I think every young journalist can learn from what he portrayed early in life, even to the extent that he went to prison, rather than reveal his source. And I mean, that impacted us back then. And I'm sure if journalists would look at it today, they can take a lesson from that.
Marcellus Hall joins us in studio with a check on what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for this evening, we'll take a look at how the Honorable Obi Wilshcombe played a major role in local sports. That's all just ahead. Stay with us.
It feels great to be back in the newsroom. Ensuring that people truly understand all the issues in the country, all the things that concern them, where we are and what we are and how did we get here.
So they have to be protected too. You got to protect the journalists. They have a responsibility, an awesome responsibility.
Celebrate the opportunity, understand your role in the country. I think women have to speak for women, and we should be listening to women. We have to look at that. It's very difficult when you consider circumstances that can affect someone's life forever. Because they're so important globally, we expect to have the eyes of the world watching us. So what we're trying to do is continue to grow the economy, because that's essential.
Tourism
of people ask, well, what's the secret about Inagua? Like the song say, Inagua is the best kept secret. You know, when folks come here today, some don't know what to expect. You know, this little place is just so sweet. My name is Randolph Burrows, but I'm better known as Casper the Friendly Ghost all over the world. I'm a local trained tour guide here on the island. No stress, just living the good life. And, you know, we have a lot of wildlife here. I always spend a lot of time when I was growing up out in the wilderness with my grandfather, my uncles and stuff. So that's where my passion for the outdoors came from, just being in it all day, every day. You could go with me for about half an hour and I could blow your mind. A lot of folks, when they come to the island, they want to see flamingos and they want to see salt. You know, they have this picture in their mind that, oh, well, there's a salt company here. They have a little pond, they produce salt. But on our way out to the salt factory, when we drive through the crystallizers and they see how vast the operation is, that alone just blows their mind. They come with a concept that, you know, all the flamingos are in a little pond somewhere you can drive up. That doesn't happen. Sometimes it takes longer to go, but once we get to a good spot, like you saw yesterday, it's mind-blowing. We have it estimated probably well over 80,000. We've had a few good breeding years, so they're here, there, and everywhere. But when you actually see it live in person, people just break down and cry. It was so beautiful. Eco-tourism spot. You can come, you can go fishing, birding, you can go donkey watching. Population of burrowing owls is growing. You can see them pretty much anywhere you go on the island. I think that's the secret. You know, the people are nice, the environment is nice and peaceful. There's just something about this place. It's just a sweet place.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at a service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever sand dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
September is an easy month to save when you shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounce, $1.59. Robin Hood flour, 5.5 pounds, $4.99. Super Value Protein Gas, 8 ounce, $1.99. Danish spare ribs, $2.89 per pound. Turkey wings, $1.89 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Amid the pain, the grief, the shock, there are questions following the passing of Cabinet Minister and Member of Parliament Obadiah Wilchcombe. What we can tell you is that discussions have already started regarding who will fill his shoes. Our Lloyd Allen has that angle.
And when I look to my right in the House meeting on October 4th, he won't be there. Somebody else will have to be standing in his position.
Shocking news for many persons around the country on the discovery of the passing of the late, the Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe. But as many still grapple with this reality, officials now in the process of a cabinet meeting to determine their next course of action to replace Wilchcombe. Chief Clerk from the House of Assembly, David Forbes, and others were present during that meeting.
Well, it was a shock for us all. Minister Wilchcombe was the leader of government business in the House. And so my communication, my interaction, my professional relationship with him was very close. We coordinated on everything that was going to happen in the House of Assembly and strategized as to the best way forward in everything that the government was seeking to do.
Now, according to Forbes, the next step now needs to be an official communication to the Governor General.
The Governor General has to be officially informed by the Speaker that the member has died, and then the Governor General will be issuing a writ of election for an election in that constituency, West End and Bimini. And the election itself will happen no less than 21 days thereafter and no more than 30 days.
The passing of a sitting member of Parliament, while a challenge to the government, is something that the country has faced before, with the most recent being that of former cabinet minister, the late Charles Chuck Virgil.
In 1980, Preston Albury was Roy Luttrell. He died while he was a sitting member of Parliament. In 1982, Shadrach Morris died while he was a sitting member of the Parliament. And then in 1990, Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield died while he was still a sitting member of Parliament. So, you know, I've seen three in my lifetime.
A pivotal member of government business in the House of Assembly, Forbes says Wilchcombe's shoes will be a tough fit for a successor.
During the legislative process, he's the one who who basically pilots the bill through the House of Assembly during the committal stage, third reading and passing. All of that is his job. That's what he does.
Now, while this still is a fresh blow to the nation, within about a month, an election will be held to replace the late Member of Parliament, the Honorable Obadiah Hercules Wilchcombe. Reporting from the House of Assembly for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Now, as our coverage of Cabinet Minister Obie Wilchcombe's death continues, our Cleopatra Murphy shares with us the reaction of some sitting cabinet colleagues.
It's really unreal to me to even be speaking about this.
The sentiments of Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, on the sudden death of veteran broadcaster and Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Obie Wilchcombe, a sobering reality that both he and his parliamentary colleagues are struggling to come to grips with. The minister, whose relationship with Wilchcombe spans decades, is mourning the loss of a man he also deemed a friend, one who made great contributions to politics and journalism and was a champion for Grand Bahama.
I used to always tease him. I said, you know, people really put me at an unfair disadvantage when they ask me to speak after you, because I've never seen anyone who has such a talent to speak extemporaneously. He went and spoke without notes, seamlessly, not a break. just an excellent speaker, a riveting speaker.
Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, says he was taken aback by his mentor's death, as he always offered an encouraging word to the youth in the party.
You know, he fought for his constituency, and he fought for the Bahamian people, and he fought for those that probably wasn't as privileged as most. And he always spoke about the core and the belief of the Progressive Liberal Party to make it better for the least among us.
Devastating is how political neophyte and Minister of Labor and Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, described the loss of her mentor and friend, a man she says was respected beyond party lines and always believed in putting one's best foot forward.
His legacy would be his absolute brilliance, his oratorical brilliance, his historical excellence, and his ability to tie in the past with the present and look towards the future.
Teary-eyed, Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, says Wilshcombe was a veteran at many things and always spoke from the heart.
I remember when he spoke to me about the young women who were trafficked, young girls who were trafficked, and his passion that we not only had to bring the perpetrators to justice, but his focus was always, what do we do about the people who are hurt? And so he always sought to address the hurt. And he will be missed personally by me. As I say, I could always look forward, for want of a better word, some jokes often at my expense.
Wilshcombe's death comes as a blow for Minister of Energy and Transport, the Honorable Jobeth Colby-Davis, who agrees he was a staunch believer in teaching younger politicians to perform in their roles.
It's a great loss to the country. It's a great loss to the party. It's a great loss to us young politicians who are thankful to people like Minister Obi Wilshcombe that made it a purpose to be sure that we were ready and prepared, and that we had the great support of those who've been doing it before us.
While Wilshcombe may be gone, his parliamentary colleagues say he leaves behind a legacy through the impact he would have made on the field of journalism, in the political arena, and through the impact he would have made on countless Bahamian lives. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, adding that his colleague's untimely passing delves a serious blow to the entire country.
For me and Minister Wilshcombe, we go back very far. Both of us are graduates from Queens College, but our relationship became much stronger in the Christie administration, where we worked very closely with many of the programs that were initiated under the Christie administration on the island of Grand Bahama. In our term in office, we executed in excess of $100 million worth of capital investments on Grand Bahama, activated many programs throughout Grand Bahama, including West Grand Bahama, 8 Mile Rock, and by extension, the entire island. Minister Wilshcombe was fully dedicated to his political calling.
Now, Obi Wilshcombe, one of few journalists in the country to have worked with several prime ministers, the first then Lyndon Pinling, whom he said he wrote to in the early days, expressing concerns of the Hawkesville Creek Agreement. Here's a clip from an upcoming docuseries.
And as far as I was concerned, Freeport was a part of Grand Bahama. But the Port Authority had bought Freeport in 1955 for $2.80, 150 acres, and the people of color were taken into the western area. You had people who lived in the Pine Ridge area. Their houses were put on the back of trucks and taken into 8 Mile Rock and developed what they call the temporary settlements, which included Seagrape, Pinedale, Jonestown. And if you read a story that was in the Wall Street Journal in 1955, it speaks of these places had no electricity, no sanitation, no water. We were sent because we were the slaves and we weren't supposed to be a part of Freeport. And so I had a difficulty, and I wrote to Lyndon, and he responded, actually. He responded to me and told me, this is what happens when you sell your land cheaply.
Memories of Minister Wilshcombe being shared by many who knew him. Corval Pyfrom is in Miami Beach, Florida, where Consul General Kurt Hollingsworth spoke about his nearly 60-year-long friendship with the late minister.
Obie Wilscombe's impact was far-reaching, including right here in South Florida, where he forged strong bonds with many in the business community, driving business, especially in the way of sports tourism, back home. Affable, charming, and charismatic are some of the ways the people here are remembering him. But for Miami Consular General Kurt G. Hollingsworth, who shared a special relationship with Mr. Wilscombe, one that was familial and special, is remembering his friend who he says he knew his entire life.
But I can say as an individual, Obie, it's been quite an example for myself. As a politician, the way that he conducted himself, the way he carried himself, as a simple human being. He was down to earth. He was involved with sports throughout. You know, he was involved with football back home, believe it or not, in Grand Bahama. He was one of those guys that was instrumental in football back there. He also played a major role in the basketball association in Grand Bahama. So he was intimately involved in the community.
The shock and sadness felt from the sudden death of Obie Wilscombe extends here to South Florida as well. His voice, his passion, his smile, his love of country, his party, and of course his beloved West Grand Bahama and Bimini are what many here say will be his lasting memory. In Miami Beach, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corbell Pyfrom. In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
There's nothing like a hot meal to start the day. Thanks to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, the Bahamas chapter, 154 students, teachers, support staff, and parents of the Ridgeland Primary School recently received a free hot breakfast.
It's about our organization. We are service to all mankind. And this is one of the programs, we call it Spoons of Love, where we want to give back to the community. We want to give back to the young children. And we are even more pleased because the principal of this school is one of us, one of our members.
The organization, which celebrates its 60th anniversary serving the Bahamas, received much gratitude from the school family.
I'm saying thank you to the organization that came to Ridgeland Primary to help feed the students.
I think this idea to give out free breakfast for the students of Ridgeland Primary is a great idea because me, myself, I'm a person that when I reach home, I would get food and everything, but some students may not have that opportunity. So in class, I usually would give away my food because some students won't have lunch or food they get when they reach home. But I think this is a great idea so that the students that may not get lunch could be able to survive through the day. And so I thank them from the bottom of my heart on behalf of all the administrators here, teachers and students for taking that kind of the hot meal that they serve. I can tell you it's definitely will do our students well, encouraging them throughout the day and of course to better lift the educational aspect throughout this day because of the nutritious meal.
I'm Adama Williams for Ed Talk.
It's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one and the car say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
Well, Minister Wilskram represented the twin constituencies of West End and Bimini, whose residents are equally in loss of their longtime MP. Our news team earlier today spoke with businessman and former Member of Parliament George Weish. Back in November 2021, Wilskram was part of a delegation who traveled to Bimini for the official opening of a government complex named in Weish's honor.
I can conscientiously and honestly say he has done a tremendous job here in Bimini. For the success that we are having here in Bimini and the success that we have attained over the years, that he was the Member of Parliament, I can personally say that he's done a fantastic job here with the improvement and the success and the business that we are having here in Bimini.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Commissioner. We have partly cloudy skies, temperature 85 degrees, relative humidity 78%. Easterly winds at 12 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.3 millibars. It's 30.01 inches. And your temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 83 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Toll Key, and Marsh Harbor in Abaco, the Berry Islands, 86. Allenstown, Bimini, 85 degrees, 85 in Harbor Island. Roxanne, Luther, 83, 84 in Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space, Andros. Freshwick in Central Andros at 85 degrees, and then we'll pick up some 84s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, George, and Exuma, 85. 84s in Clarencetown, Long Island, Ryder Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, 82, Actors, 82, Matthew Town, Hidalgo, 87, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 85 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FIP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter in the Northwestern Islands tonight through Wednesday. Southeast winds are going to be around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide takes place at 11:33 tonight. Have another low tide at 11:41 tomorrow morning. Now for the Central and Southeastern Islands through Wednesday, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave height 3 to 6 feet. So caution flags are in place for boaters in the Central and Southeastern Islands right through Wednesday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Sometimes life hints at your next step, sending you signs all around, even in unexpected places, to lead you in the right direction. The signs are clear. It's time to pay less for your current mortgage and switch to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch your mortgage to Scotiabank. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. Paying less gives you more when you switch to Scotiabank.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus, we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. For selling cars, they gotta be proud. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
At Cartwright, our members know that there's a lot to smile about. They know that membership has its privileges. Guaranteed low pricing on every item, every time you shop. Each membership comes with 2 cards. That's one for you and a free card for a member of your household. Gold card holders earn an annual 2% rebate up to $500. Cartwright members get discounts at other participating businesses. So that's a lot to smile about. Whether it be clothing, appliances, home goods, or groceries, shop at Cartwright, where membership truly has its privileges.
There goes my new car. Guess I'm back on my bike.
Your bike? CG offers new car replacement. Remember my monster truck days? Well, one night I attempted a 50-foot pogo double backflip. I landed it and went to karaoke. It wasn't until afterward that my car got hit by that fisherman. He gave me some great mahi-mahi though. Anyway, they paid fast and got me in a new car. Now call a cab. I want you to meet my alpaca guy.
New car replacement for the first year of ownership. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Enter to win with Hellman's and Knorr. Buy Hellman's and Knorr rice or pesticides and take your receipt to purchase on Robinson Road. You could win one of 6 prizes. Enter today.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Of course, sports starting on a bit of a somber note this evening as we remember one of our sporting legends, the Honorable Obie Wilshcombe. He had a big impact on the sporting community. Let's see just how big that was. The Honorable Obie Wilshcombe, also a big part of the sporting community. Wilshcombe was the former president of the Grand Bahama Basketball Association and president of the Commonwealth American Football League. He was also a huge Miami Dolphins fan. Former Minister of Tourism was also instrumental in the sports tourism brand. He spoke recently at the inaugural announcement of the Bahamas Bowl. Wilshcombe also played a major role in marketing the Bahamas and seeing what other countries are doing to put us on the market.
The Bahamas depends on tourism, and it's always imperative for us to be the leader. And we seek to find out what the competitors are doing, and at the same time, what we can take from the competitors to enhance our product. And right now, I believe that it's been a wonderful event. You're seeing many countries, and I'm seeing my brothers and sisters from the Caribbean present their products, and we're doing the same, and we feel quite good about it.
Now, as you mentioned, Wilshcombe, a big Dolphins fan. Former Dolphins wide receiver Nat Moore spoke about the relationship via telephone.
It's with great sorrow that I hear about the passing of Obie. He was a great friend of mine, great friend to the Miami Dolphins, and was always there to support Ian and everything that we wanted to do there in the Bahamas. I know that from my part, he will be missed sorely, and I just hope that his family and close friends realize that God makes no mistakes. You know, that we all got to go that sometime, and we're blessed to have had him as long as we did. And may he rest in peace.
And locally, CAFL legend Mike Foster also remembering Wilshcombe's time and impact on the game locally.
He was a good player. He was a good player. And a statesman, you know. He was also, at one time, he was the president of the Commonwealth American Football League. And during his tenure, he ran a very good, very organized operation. They're always very organized, you know. He went to Houston with me. He was the year ahead of me in college. And Obie was pretty quick. He was fast. He ran track. I don't know of any sports he played other than running track and playing American football later in his days, you know. But other than that, as a politician, he was just, an extraordinary when it comes to politicians, you know. And he also exemplified everything he did in politics. He did also with sports, you know. Same way he carried himself, it's the same way he carried himself all the time. All I can say is, I was at the Miami Dolphin game yesterday. I phoned him. I said, well, I texted him. I said, you coming to the game because he hardly missed any Miami Dolphin games. And he texted me back and he said he won't make it. So he has a function. He has a function that he had to attend, which I understand was a women's branch meeting. And so when I woke up this morning, I was shocked. I was just absolutely shocked.
And that's a check on sports for you on this Monday. Don't go anywhere. We do have that Monday look at the weather. That is just ahead.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Have you ever purchased a defective item and was denied an exchange or cash refund? Contact the Consumer Protection Commission at 393-7795-8 or our 24-hour complaints hotline at 357-7898 and let us help your voice be heard.
Hey, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right.
First we plan, then we innovate, then we build. At Bahama Striping Group of Companies, we are committed to quality, to safety, and to service. We know that the road you take is just as important as your final destination. At Bahama Striping Group of Companies, it is our job to make sure the road and the ride are as smooth as possible. From striping roads to building them, we are the right choice, the trusted choice, the only choice to help you build your tomorrow.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Time now for weather.
And now a final look at weather. We have a lone system out there in the Atlantic. It carries the name of Philip. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, it was some 1,080 miles to the east of the northern Leeward Islands, moving towards the west at some 12 miles per hour. Maximum sustainment just around 45 miles per hour, and we expect it to remain a tropical storm over the next several days as it makes that turn towards the north. And closer to home, we still have this mid-level trophy now just over the western tip of Cuba. That's going to be fueling some moisture across the Bahamas, so you can anticipate pockets of showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Tonight, we are looking at considerable clouds, very warm and humid with a couple of thunderstorms developing. Low temperature around 82 degrees, and tomorrow the cloudy conditions will continue, humid with thunderstorms in spots, particularly in the afternoon. High temperature tomorrow, 87 degrees. And your extended water forecast, we will have to contend with those off and on showers right into Wednesday. Things dry out a bit on Thursday, but the showers and thunderstorms will return on Friday, taking us into Sunday before we see more dry conditions early next week. Krishna?
That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching, and good night.
watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.